Joining me now is Democratic congressional candidate in Pennsylvania, Ryan Crosswell. He is a former federal prosecutor, also a Marine veteran. Welcome, Ryan. It's good to have you here. So, the administration's top demand is for Iran to open up the strait, that along with reducing its nuclear capabilities, of course. But Iran enters these talks emboldened by the regime's survival while maintaining those uranium and missile stockpiles. Are you confident the White House will get a long-term deal that goes beyond just the economic benefits of opening the waterway?
Thanks for having me, Alex. I'm not really confident in anything this administration tries to do. And I think it's important to remember, we're now trying to solve a problem that Donald Trump created. It is a war that has been launched during an affordability crisis that has driven gas prices up $1 here in Pennsylvania 7, where I'm running for Congress. It's being done at a time when we were already told we can't afford Medicaid, we can't afford SNAPs. We're using this money. And even if we do resolve this and we broker a peace, it's not going to bring back the service members who have already been killed in this conflict. And you mentioned I'm a Marine. It's very near and dear to my heart. So I am hopeful. I'm also just incredibly annoyed. And it's one more abuse of power by this administration. One more reason I'm running for Congress.
So to build on what you said about this being a war that Donald Trump started, reports suggest that he did so expecting a quick and decisive victory. So what's your assessment of the administration's war strategy, and how would you approach accountability for all of this if you get elected?
Well, I don't think there is a strategy. We have been given 4 different rationales, at least by my count, for this conflict. And the problem is when you don't have a strategy going in, you don't have an endpoint for getting out. So, and as you mentioned, this started without any vote by Congress, much less even a debate on the floor. And so accountability, we need members of Congress to grow a spine, to stand up, to start asserting their Article I powers. And among all of them, it's the declarations of war, which, again, Congress had no role in any of this. There's so much ground to be regained, and it's why it's so important that Democrats win this November.
Can I just ask you, it's almost unfathomable, after all the lessons of war, which you, of course, know very well, having served as a Marine, that anyone would enter into a conflict without a precise, clearly stated exit strategy. How did that not happen this time?
It's incredible. I mean, there's so much resemblance to Iraq, except at least with Iraq, there was a buildup. There was an explanation to the American people. There was presentations to the UN. There was presentations to Congress. This just came out of nowhere, and it's so impetuous. I just have no explanation for it. And again, you know, I had a boss that used to say that every service member writes a blank check to their country for up to and including their life. And that's the problem. This isn't a minor thing. This is war. And we have a president just the other day who was threatening total annihilation of the Iranian civilization. It is this tough guy, fake brinksmanship that he engages in. And this is a country of 93 million people that is not just going to roll over. And of course, they haven't. And of course, that should have been predictable to anyone that actually thought about it, but not this president, because he's incompetent.
Let me ask you about what you did again in your role as a former federal prosecutor. You resigned on principle from the DOJ last year, protesting corruption charges against former New York City Mayor Eric Adams being dropped with the administration's support. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche said that federal prosecutors involved in investigations of President Trump who were fired had an ethical duty to step down for going after their boss, denying they were let go for political reasons. And again, you stepped down on your own accord for principled reasons. But is he essentially saying government lawyers work for the president and not the public? Is that your understanding of federal prosecutors' ethical obligations?
No. No, it's not. And he's the last person to be speaking about government ethics. Let's not forget that after my colleagues and I resigned over the Eric Adams matter, there was a government prosecutor, a whistleblower, that said that basically they were advised to lie to a federal judge. Look, when I testified to Congress, I warned that when you have a Justice Department that will drop charges against those who acquiesce to the Trump administration, you will have a Justice Department that will bring charges against those who don't. And that is exactly what we've seen. And probably the most disturbing news, I'm glad Pam Bondi's gone, but the news is that it was that she was not sufficiently going after Donald Trump's enemies. That's un-American. It's dangerous. And as you mentioned, it's why I'm running. And if anyone wants to support the campaign, they can go to RyanCrosswell.com.
Okay, Ryan Crosswell. Without the .com, I will thank you, but there you have the .com as well. Thank you so much. The new fallout over the allegations against